Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. As you can probably tell from my opening theme, I'm a big fan of Peter Schiff. And the reason I love his opening theme is because the first couple of times I heard it, I thought it sounded a lot like he was saying the Peter Shit Show. And then he goes on to talk about how shitty everything is. And I thought that was pretty appropriate, right? He's describing the shit show of the world economy. And so I really loved that theme, and I decided to adopt it. And I don't necessarily always talk about a shit show, but I talk about very sensitive subjects that are political in nature, polarizing, and generate a lot of dislikes, obviously. So I decided to adopt his theme and call it a Peter Dislike Show. Now, Peter Schiff the other night was talking about how it's a Jewish New Year and didn't really celebrate. I'm not Jewish, but I love intermittent fasting. And I sometimes work with people who also do it during the Yom Kippur. So I usually use that as an opportunity to do an even more extreme fast. I usually don't dry fast, but Yom Kippur I'll do it. And you also have to abstain from sex. And the combination of the two is actually a lot harder than either one alone, right? The dry fasting might not be so bad if you could hide out and masturbate or maybe have sex with your significant other to get over that. Similarly, it's a lot easier to abstain from sex if you can indulge in other ways, right? The combination actually adds like synergy. Just my own experience. I've only done it 2 other times before. I started in 2021. And so I look forward to doing that. Now, Yom Kippur is all about death, believe it or not. And I like to think every time I do one of these fasts, it's like a training for finally one day when I do that final fast and fade away. See, as much as I love to talk about staying healthy and potentially extending our life expectancy, I don't want to keep living if it's going to affect my dignity, right? So, for example, now this might rub some people wrong, so if you're sensitive about end of life, you can turn off the video. I sometimes see elderly people in my family and elsewhere who have to take 20 different medications, and also that's not the worst of it. The worst of it is when they have incontinence and they pee and poop themselves. See, I don't want to live to that kind of condition. When I start to pee and poop myself, that's it. I'm going to starve myself until I fade away. And I like that I have the ability to do that at any point, right? You might be able to keep me away from the drugs that end my life. You might be able to keep myself away from a gun or from a bridge, but I'll always have access to fasting till death, right? And there's nothing anybody can stop me from doing that. And I also have a romantic connection with the idea of just fading away. It's kind of like, you ever listen to a song from the 80s or 90s that just kind of fades, it gets softer and softer until it fades away? I want my life to end like that. And fasting until I fade away kind of has that feeling to it. So Yom Kippur and other fasting events, I kind of treat it like training for that. Because I don't want to poop myself. I hate it. Sometimes I accidentally poop my pants. Those are the worst moments in my life. As much as I talk about things that I strongly dislike in my life, there's nothing worse than pooping your pants, right? So when I stop being able to control my pooping, that's it, right? I'll go on an ultimate fast. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.